Hello students, in the last lecture we have discussed about general features of bryophytes, its classification, that is liverworts and mosses, detailed aspect of reproduction we have also completed. Today we are going to start the next topic of a plant kingdom. Again here we are learning their general characters in detail or silent features of pteridophytes. Okay, so what are pteridophytes, where they are found, where they occur, what is their habitat, what is their habit, how they reproduce, all the aspect of pteridophytes we are going to learn. First, with reference to their habit of the plant. So these plants are quite advanced than the bryophytes. So these are the first terrestrial vascular plants. Why they are called terrestrial vascular plants? Since they are found in a damp and muddy, shady places. These plants require not they don't require much water, but they live in a damp, means where moist place is there. That place is called damp place, and also they found in shady places. In such places they are occurring, and they are land dwellers, means they are present on the land. They are not aquatic, they are land dwellers. Then they are vascular plants. Why? Because they are the first vascular plants on the land. Why? Means they are containing vascular tissues like xylem and phloem. These are the first land plants possessing xylem as well as phloem for the conduction of water and conduction of food material. With reference to their thallus or the plant body, here plant body is of course not a thallus. Here the plant body is a dominant phase is called sporophyte. So what is sporophyte? We are familiar with this word sporophyte. Sporophyte means the plant body which is differentiated into root, stem and leaf and bearing spores. Such plants are called sporophyte, and the nature of the plant is diploid in nature. Okay, the plant body is sporophyte. Why? It is the dominant phase. It is not characterized by thallus, but it is mainly characterized by sporophyte. This plant, I mean the members of the pteridophytes, the members or the example, different examples we are learning. So all the members of pteridophytes, they possess two kinds of leaves. Normally, when we see the habit of the plant, they possess two kinds of, in some species they possess microsporophylls and megasporophyll. Phyll means leaves, two kinds of leaves. Micro refers to small, mega refers to large. Thus, micro means small leaves. Example, Selaginella. For the diagram, the detailed diagrams, please go through the NCERT reader diagram. I have not drawn the diagram, you go through that reader where we can see the number of examples along with the diagram. So, microsporophyll is the Selaginella example, and megasporophyll where the large sized leaves are present. So, this is an ornamental plant. Usually, we cultivate some ferns in our that is in the garden also. So as an ornamental plant. So a best example is the fern. Ferns are having megasporophylls, means large sized leaves are there. So thus the two kinds of leaves, they possess mega as well as microsporophylls. And now coming to their sporophyte. So in detail the reproduction, how they reproduce, let us see. Sporophyte, as you know, sporophyte, they bear a sexual reproductive structure called sporangia. So sporophyte bears sporangia. Do you know how the sporangia is formed? Sporangia is formed by the compaction of sporophyll. Sporophylls are small leaves. They are aggregate together, compact together to form a structure called sporangia. And such number of sporangia close together to form a structure called strobili. Strobili or cone. Okay, strobilus also we can call it. Strobili singular, strobilus singular, strobili is the plural word. So this is the flow chart showing the life cycle or reproduction of a pteridophytes. Generally when we see the sporophyte it produces sporangia. Sporangia is formed by, it is going to form a strobili. Okay, and this strobili where the sporangia are present, they each sporangia undergo meiosis. Each sporangia undergo Within a sporangia, what we see? We see number of haploid spores. How the haploid spores are formed? They are formed by the reductional division or meiotic division. So within the sporangia, spores are produced by the process called meiosis. And after that, these spores which are having haploid number of chromosome, these haploid spores germinate on a moist place. When they fall on the moist place, muddy place, they start germinating. After germination, they produce a multicellular thallus called prothallus. Multicellular, we can also call it as gametophyte. So gametophyte or prothallus, both are same. And that the photosynthetic, that is green in color, and this can carry the process of photosynthesis, hence it is called as prothallus. It is a multicellular prothallus which is photosynthetic in nature because it carries photosynthesis. And the mature prothallus, when the prothallus get mature, this produces both antheridia and archegonia. So from here the sexual phase begins. This is all a sexual phase. Sporangia to prothallus asexual, and from prothallus antheridia to the next spore formation, that is sexual phase. Let us begin how the sexual phase takes place. So here we know male and female. The male prothallus, female prothallus. Sometimes it may be monoecious or it may be dioecious. If monoecious is there, both male and female antheridia as well as archegonia, they are produced on the same thallus, same prothallus. Understood? Next, same if they are dioecious, the male prothallus will be separate, female prothallus will be separate. Thus, totally prothallus bears antheridia, which is a male reproductive structure, and archegonia, which is a female reproductive structure. As the antheridia get mature, it produces antherozoids. Okay, and these antherozoids, we know they are biflagellate, they swim in the water. But archegonia does not swim in the water. It is constant, stable, and archegonia have egg cell. And as antherozoids, they reach the egg cell and they form a zygote. Fertilization takes place, zygote formation occurs, which is diploid in nature. Next comes zygote. After zygote formation, that develops mitotically into sporophyte, young sporophyte, which is diploid in nature. But this sporophyte may bears either homospores, it may produce, or heterospores. Homospores means the sporophyte can produce similar kind of spores. They are known as homosporous. If the sporophyte bears two dissimilar type of spores, then it is known as heterosporous. A sporophyte may be homosporous or it may be heterosporous. Okay. Now here some example I wrote. Homosporous, heterosporous. The heterosporous condition we come across in Acinilla salvinia. Okay. So this is all about the life cycle of a pteridophytes. Now here pteridophytes are broadly classified into 4 classes, namely Celotopsida, where xylotum comes, Lycopsida, under this class Selaginella, Lycopodium, and Spinopsida, under which Equisetum comes, and Pteropsida, under which a fern called, all these are ferns only, all these 3 are ferns, Pteris, Dryopteris, Nephrolepis, they comes under Pteropsida. Thus, you will be given in examination part 2 mark question. Remember the classification of the pteridophytes. With this, we have completed pteridophytes.